Hey there, welcome back to Tennille Talks. Y'all, let me share something real quick. We're kind of still in that back to school season. And so like a lot of the videos, the shorts especially that I watch on YouTube, just based on my algorithm, like they include like family and children and stuff like that. I watched a compilation video of dads, and these dads, the level of separation anxiety that they had was beautiful. They were sending their kids to school for the very first time, and they were crying and they were sad, and they just couldn't let their babies go because they recognized that their babies weren't babies anymore. And so I'm watching like a whole bunch of different dads like deal with sending their kids to kindergarten for the first time, and they're crying and they're emotional, and I'm watching it and I'm crying and I'm emotional. Y'all, when I tell you I can watch a video and cry at the drop of a dime, y'all, I mean, I'm doing this now today, but like years ago, let's say if me and my friend are having a conversation and my friend has gone through something like really deep or emotional in their life and they start crying, I didn't used to know how to cry. Not that you have to cry on command, but you know how like sometimes when somebody is in your face going through something, you cry with them. You be like, girl, stop, you're gonna make me cry. I couldn't cry if I wanted to years ago. It's like I couldn't tap into, or I just couldn't access that space inside of myself. I could make sense rationally of why people cried at that moment, but I just couldn't share in the moment. That is not where I am right now. I can watch something and cry very easily, but it feels so good. Kind of weird because I could cry all day watching YouTube shorts, but it just like feels good. This reading is giving me the energy of separation anxiety. And first of all, I don't know if I said this, we've got a karmic feminine, a king of cups, and a queen of wands. In the center of this reading, this king of cups is going through a death. The death means that there is going to be a noticeable end of a cycle or a situation, aka this king of cups is leaving their old life, but their old life has people attached to it, hence the karmic feminine. On the left of this king of cups is a karmic feminine. On the right hand side of this king of cups is a badass queen of wands who is stacked. All right, okay, let me get into it. So listen, you know, sometimes college classes or any type of course, sometimes you got to take a prerequisite. Before you can take those advanced level courses, you first have to take the general knowledge. Your South Node, that's like your prerequisites. Before you can move into your North Node, you first have to burn off karma. You got to learn lessons. You got to close out cycles. You've got to end relationships with toxic people. This karmic feminine is toxic. If this king of cups is moving into their North Node, this karmic feminine ain't going. They're not going. And so just like I watch all of those dads cry because they had to send their babies to school, this karmic feminine is crying because this king of cups is being promoted. But you know what really makes this karmic feminine mad? It's because they know that when this king of cups gets to this new class called North Node, they're going to have a classmate. And guess who's in their class? Guess who this king of cups new classmate is? A badass queen of wands. Let me tell you about this queen of wands. This queen of wands is stacked. I'll just tell you the cards. I got Heart of Gold, Nine of Coins, Pleasure, Purpose, Power. All of that is describing this Queen of Wands. This is not anybody you want to fuck with. This is somebody that is not just getting to their North Node. They've been in their North Node for quite a while, and they have mastered a lot. If you have the Nine of Coins, not only are you moving in your purpose and in your power, yo, we also got pleasure. This Queen of Wands is able to relax and enjoy life. This is somebody who is abundant and satisfied. Okay, so this Queen of Wands is somebody that you can't move. You can't get them out of their energy. And they got a heart of gold. But this is a powerful person. This is a very powerful person. So this King of Cups is about to be in the same class as a Queen of Wands. And this karmic feminine is not going to be able to take the advanced classes, aka you ain't going to your North Node because you're toxic. Okay, let's move into the karmic feminine. My handmaid card says, I feel so much better when no one knows where I am or what I'm doing. So this is a sneaky bitch. This is someone, I also have a card that says shuffle. So when everybody else was going through their karma, when everybody else was moving through life, what was this karmic feminine doing? How come you're not ready to go to your north node and everybody else is? The shuffle card says random, throwing others off, keeping things fresh, evasive, mix and confuse others, and underhanded. Y'all, this sounds like a class clown, but in reality, this is a life clown. This is somebody who messed around and clowned around in their own life, and now they're watching people be promoted. And the reality, oh God. All right, y'all. I don't know if I read this because I tried to kind of record this a bunch, but let me say something. If this is on my handmade card. If you don't build your future, life will assign you one you didn't ask for. This karmic feminine was acting as a third party snitch. Now, sometimes this is like love triangle energy, okay? Based on who this Queen of Wands is, this Queen of Wands would never, ever tolerate a love triangle. And so if this King of Cups and this Queen of Wands, if this is some type of a relationship that is going to unfold, the only way it could have happened is if this King of Cups got the hell out of the South Node and moved into the North Node. And that is exactly what happened. So maybe there is a connection that can unfold and blossom now that the King of Cups is finally moving into the North Node. But before the King of Cups got here, the karmic feminine was attempting to slow people down, mixing up the energy, right, in a very sneaky way. But the problem is you were being a clown, fucking around in everybody else's life. But now people are moving and growing and advancing, and you ain't got nowhere to go and you ain't got nothing to do, right? And so now the future that the karmic feminine is about to have to live through, it's not the future they created. It's not the future they planned for, okay? This Queen of Wands is moving in purpose and moving in power. This is what I'm really understanding. When this King of Cups leaves the South Node, the karmic feminine is no longer going to be able to watch and track this Queen of Wands. Imagine somebody picking up a pair of binoculars. The King of Cups was binoculars, meaning as long as the karmic feminine and the King of Cups had a relationship, the karmic feminine could look through the energy of the King of Cups in order to track the Queen of Wands, almost like picking him up like binoculars, putting it to your eyes, reading his energy in order to see through him, to track and to shuffle and to mix and to confuse the energy of the Queen of Wands. Is that making sense, y'all? But if this King of Cups is no longer in their South Node, how the hell are you going to see what's going on in the advanced classes and you're still back in the prerequisites? You know what I'm saying? And so this is somebody who was messing around in people's energy. But guess what? That is coming to an end. Let's jump into the karmic feminine a little more. My handmade card says, I feel so much better when no one knows where I am or what I'm doing. This is what I mean about somebody being sneaky. This is like a hidden hand. These are two people who may have a connection. Nothing here really says intimate, but obviously this is divine connection. This is somehow spiritual. So two people cross paths with one another, but there is a third party snitch. There is some type of rival, and they are looking through the King of Cups in order to monitor the Queen of Wands. But when a King of Cups leaves, you will no longer be able to see what the Queen of Wands has got going on. You will no longer be able to manipulate the energy of the Queen of Wands or the King of Cups because, baby, you're just not in that goddamn class because you didn't do your work. Y'all, I have a card here. It says unwanted attention, being put on the spotlight in an uncomfortable way, harassment, scrutiny, invasion of personal space. So when the karmic feminine used to hide in people's energies and mess around and stir things up in order to confuse everybody, it was fine because nobody knew what they were doing. But now they are starting to get unwanted attention because, listen, if everybody around you is in your North Node and when they look at you, they can read your energy. They're going to know exactly where you are. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's in 10th grade and you done got left back. And energetically, spiritually, it is very clear to see that this Queen of Wands, sorry. It is very clear to see that this karmic feminine is not being promoted. And so they were able to hide in karmic energy. But when the King of Cups gets rid of the karmic energy, now where can you hide? Where are you going to continue to do the fuck shit? And so now the karmic feminine is getting a lot of unwanted attention because everybody's got their divine sight. Everybody can see people for who they really are. And so this person is like, damn, I felt so much better when nobody knew who I was and what I was doing. Now everybody's got eyes on me. And so the karmic feminine is in the energy of the Nine of Swords. This is anxiety, stress, disruption, and insomnia. This karmic feminine is recognizing that they have to go back to the drawing board. They got to get creative. They got to figure out how to still be messy. How can I still shove? How can I get in people's way? How can I slow people down? How can I block progress? How can I make sure people don't come together? Everybody sees me and knows me for who I am now, so I can't move how I used to move. I got to go back to the drawing board. And when they're talking about going back to the drawing board, they're trying to find psychic gifts, but there is no psychic gift that you possess in your South Node that can ever really touch or have any impact or true effect on people in their North Node, right? And so them South Node gifts, they were working because you were looking through somebody that was in their South Node. You know what I mean? It's almost like the karmic feminine was using the King of Cups as a window or as a portal to manipulate the energy of the Queen of Wands. But when this King of Cups wakes up, when they go through this death, when they close out their old life and bury the karma, the karmic feminine gets buried too. The karmic feminine has no psychic gifts that can contend with two people in their North Node. Now let's jump into the King of Cups. So you know the emotional scale that kind of talks about the energy and the vibration that you're in at every level of your chakra. Right now, this King of Cups is standing in enlightenment. They're recognizing that life is. That's a complete sentence. Life is. This is somebody that is not taking anything personal. They're reckoning like life just is. It's not good or it's not bad. It just is, right? And at the same time, the King of Cups is also recognizing that, guess what? God is self. I am God. And so this is about a King of Cups is in their North Node and they have finally tapped into their pure consciousness. They are in a spiritual paradigm. They're no longer struggling in survival mode. They finally reached their own spiritual calling and spirituality. And guess what? As soon as the King of Cups got into the North Node, as soon as they sat down in their first day in that advanced class, their heart chakra turned on. I have a card here. It says Unshakable Love. This motherfucker done got in this new class and it's like, oh my God, look at that Queen of Wands over there, right? First day of school, you got a crush on the Queen of Wands. But I really feel like this Queen of Wands was already somehow in the energy or in the life of the King of Cups. You had to be. The King of Cups and the Queen of Wands, y'all two had to have already crossed paths for this karmic feminine to be able to do what they were doing by shuffling energy and confusing everybody. You had to cross paths, but maybe it didn't develop. And it couldn't develop because I told you this Queen of Wands is stacked. And so if somebody has done all of this work in their own life, they're really not going to tolerate a third party relationship, but they're also not going to give time to people in their South Node. So the only way these two, King of Cups and Queen of Wands, could have been together is if the King of Cups leveled up. He had to go through a death. He had to bury people, places, and things that were a part of old patterns, habits, and behaviors. And somebody did that. And when they did that, their heart chakra came on. We're talking about unshakable love. This is like somebody looking at you for the first time, but they're looking at you with their North Node eyes. They have looked at you for a long time, but they had on their South Node glasses. Y'all, I'm telling you, the Queen of Wands is looking very different now. When I'm talking about unshakable love, it's like somebody walking into the classroom for the first time. You know how like in movies and TV shows, how all of a sudden it switches to slow motion and the girl flips her hair and it's like the hair moves in slow motion and there's like this glow and this light. And yes, when the King of Cups looks at this Queen of Wands, she is moving in slow motion, meaning he can see every piece of her beauty. Everything about this Queen of Wands is apparent. It is seen. And so there is an unshakable love that this King of Cups has inside of them for this Queen of Wands. Deep-rooted affection that grows stronger with time. Unwavering affection. The love that the King of Cups has for the Queen of Wands is steady and resilient, meaning it ain't going nowhere. Whatever this karmic feminine was doing in the background, it was not able to stop. It was not able to take away the love that this King of Cups had for the Queen of Wands. But like they couldn't access it unless they buried the old. They had to go through a death. They literally had to move out of the South Node neighborhood. Because if you want to be with the Queen of Wands, she ain't driving to your neighborhood. You got to drive to hers, right? But she don't want you to come and visit. She don't want you to just drive and visit her. No, you got to move into the neighborhood. The King of Cups has moved into the North Node, and the karmic feminine is feeling very seen right now. Not only are they feeling seen, but they don't know what to do because their gifts, their talent, whatever the fuck they were doing with all this karmic energy, even if they do have psychic gifts, their gifts are not going to stretch into the North Node. Their gifts are not going to stretch into this advanced level. They have to go back to the drawing board. And my problem is like, you're really going to go back to the drawing board to figure out how to fuck this up instead of building your own future. This is what I mean about the class clown. This is like the person who can't read. And so when everybody else is reading, they're making noises and playing around. You know what I'm saying? And so you thought it was funny to be a life clown, to be a class clown. But now everybody's getting promoted and now you're feeling really silly. You're feeling like, oh my God, what do I do with myself? What do I do with my life? I can't do all the fuck shit that I used to do before. Yeah, you can't. All right, y'all, let's jump into the Queen of Wands. Now, I have a card on top of the Queen of Wands, and it says, hey, we've done this card before. This is my handmade card. It says, hey, I miss you. The person responds, can't talk. I'm at a funeral. Oh my God, who passed away? The Queen of Wands responds, my feelings for you. Bye. So y'all, what I'm saying is there must have been history. The King of Cups and the Queen of Wands must have had history, even if it was brief. For a period of time, maybe y'all caught feelings, but I'm telling you, unless this King of Cups moved into the North Node, there was really only a little bit of entertainment that they could have gotten from the Queen of Wands. And so maybe it's like, oh my God, I love this person, but you loved them, but they didn't cut you off because you were messing around in your South Node with the karmic feminine too long. Now let's jump into it. The unshakable love that the King of Cups has for the Queen of Wands, it's because they finally recognize that this person has a heart of gold. When the King of Cups looks at the Queen of Wands, they see you as someone with pure intentions. You show your true colors and you are exceptionally kind and generous. And somebody has animosity, meaning the karmic feminine cannot contend with the heart, the power, the purpose, the pleasure, the money, the independence. Listen, you are stacked, Queen of Wands. You have it all. You got it all. And then I got a card that says nature spirits, which means, listen, Earth, you are the keeper of Earth's knowledge. Magic awaits you because you commune with nature. This Queen of Wands is badass in mind, body, soul, and spirit, and their pockets. Not even, and I'm not saying you got to have a lot of money, but what I'm saying is like you're self-sufficient, you're independent. You don't depend on anybody for nothing, right? And you don't got to have a lot, but what you have, it's enough for you to feel and to live a life of pleasure. And somebody's mad that your heart is what it is. Y'all, whoever this Queen of Wands is, this reading doesn't necessarily say what happens next. This reading is really to highlight the fact that a King of Cups has finally made it to the North Node. But when they get to the North Node, it doesn't look like it doesn't look like this Queen of Wands has feelings anymore. It seems like it took you a long time to get here. You know what I'm saying? Like I've been in this class for 5 months and you just joined the class. And so when we're talking about somebody not having feelings, whatever the shuffling was, whatever was happening in the background with the rival, the karmic feminine, whatever they were doing that was very underhanded with the energy, it may have impacted the connection between the King of Cups and the Queen of Wands. So this reading doesn't say what happens between those two people. It is really supposed to highlight the fact that a King of Cups has gone through a major death. And whatever they're stepping into next, it feels absolutely foreign. And it feels foreign, but they know somebody who can help them. They're in unknown territory, but like the one person that they know that knows exactly what's happening is this Queen of Wands. So they have somebody, they got a tutor. You got to this new class, you don't know what the hell is going on, but you know you got a tutor because you already crossed paths with this person. There is somebody in the King of Cups life that can help them in this new realm. In the North Node, they have somebody. The karmic feminine ain't working with nothing. So just like I was watching all those dads send their babies to school for the first time, just like they were recognizing that their babies had finally grown up and they weren't babies anymore, this karmic feminine, not as sentimental, but this is somebody who is not willing to let go of the old. People are being promoted spiritually. People are being promoted divinely. And there is somebody who wasn't building their own future. They were attempting to fuck around with the future of other people. And so now you got to get what you get. You have to get what you get, which means life is going to assign you something that you didn't even build, but it's a product of what you were doing with your time. So what happens next for the karmic feminine? They are literally in the energy of the Nine of Swords, anxiety, stress, insomnia, and disruption. But remember, that was the same person that was being underhanded, the same person that was trying to throw everybody off, shuffle everybody's energy around, and mix and confuse others. And now they are looking very mixed and confused in their own life because ain't nobody to fuck with. Everybody's being promoted divinely and spiritually. And so that little bit of gift, that little bit of magic, if you could see psychically, them eyes aren't working anymore. You got South Node eyes and everybody's in their North Node. So the Queen of Wands, for a period of time, your energy may have been influenced negatively because of who this King of Cups was tied to. But once the King moves into the North Node, everybody in the South Node is blind. They don't know what's going on. They don't know what happens next. And they won't be able to see until they finish their prerequisites. But remember, we're talking about a class clown, a life clown. Y'all, I love you so much. This is our reading. I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.